Hello everyone. So we're back for another episode of our Totally Junk Journal. As you know, this is a project that we work on every week in our live stream on Sundays at noon Central. Now I usually do it as the last project of the day, and I do the same thing that I do here, and the point of this video is for those who can't make it to the live streams or miss something in live stream and don't want to have to hunt through a live stream to find it. So I do hope you're enjoying this series. Last week we made this fun edge and a belly band. Well, if we have a belly band, we need something to tuck in there. So this week we're going to make some tags or journal cards or whatever you want to tuck into our belly band, and maybe some extras to tuck in something else later. We're going to need some cardboard. Now I have two different kind of weights of cardboard. This one's a little thinner. This is just like cereal box cardboard. I've got a wheat thin box here. You could use just the heavier if that's all you've got. It's fine. I just happen to have this, and it's nice and white on the back side, so that's what I'm going to use. You need a grocery store plastic bag. And we're going to use some really high-end tools. We want some coloring crayons or a pencil. Now I happen to have this. I know this is an art pencil, but it's a 2B, which is the same thing as a standard school pencil. This happens to be a woodless pencil, and I really like them. This is just, oh well, this one is softer than normal. This is a 6B, and you know, if you've got those, great. If you don't, fine. This is just a colored pencil, and you don't have to have anything specific, and I just have one of each out here just to show you what you might need. You don't have to have all three of these. You need one of these things. Okay? The first thing we're going to do is to cut our lighter weight card into some tags and tuck spots and things like that. So I've already pre-cut it. Size doesn't matter, guys. Whatever your cardboard will cut up to is perfect. The whole point of this is to use what we've got, and the biggest thing is we want it to fit in our little book, and that's all that really matters, is that it fits in our little book. So cut it to where it uses the cardboard good and fits in the little book. Okay? I'm just finishing off the tags. Now, I'm cutting tags in the smaller ones. I'm going to leave this bigger one just the way it is. And this is how I'm so technical when it comes to cutting off corners. Now, since these are tags and journaling spots, journaling tucks, things like that, we're going to actually work on the printed side of the piece, okay? So when we start gluing, we're going to glue to the printed, not that, because this is so that we can write on it. Okay, so then we need our other kinds of cardboard. And this is where the fun begins. We're going to glue all kinds of fun patterns on these things. I'm going to work with a tag here for a minute. And I'm just going to get rid of these edges simply because they irritate me. They've got glue and stuff on them. I have plenty of cardboard. I don't have to use those. I can put those in the recycle bin. bent right in here, so I'm just going to cut it off. There again, I have plenty of cardboard. So for this tag, I am going to cut some long skinny strips. Now you could cut them with your cutter if you want to make them super accurate. I am not going to worry about it. If they're off a little, that's all right with me, because what we're making right this second is texture. And they are definitely off some. So I am going to take my glue, and for this I would highly recommend some kind of wet glue. I think it would work with glue stick, but I think it will work better with wet glue. And we're going to glue these down. But when we glue them down, that's a lot of glue on there. We are going to put them not right together. We're going to glue them so that they are, a quarter of an inch or so apart. And you can tell that one is very crooked. They're all very crooked, actually. If I wanted them to be straight, I should have used the cutter. I've got excess glue on here, so I'm probably going to have to and I am going to actually take this and glue it the opposite direction here, just because what I'm making is a design on my card, and I'll show you how it works in a little bit. Now I've got way too much glue, it's popping out, so I'm going to get a wet wipe and wipe off all this extra glue. Okay, and we're just going to set it aside to dry. Now, these little pieces that are sticking out, I will cut off later. And I'm going to go on to the next one, the next tag. And let's see here. I think I will cut out some circles for it. Now, it's easier to cut the circles if the piece is small and you don't have to fight with a big piece. So I am just going to and are they perfect circles? No. Are they the same size? No. Am I worried about that? No. actually think I want some smaller ones. And if I wasn't punching cardboard, I probably would use my circle punches, but unless you have the heavier duty punches, it's really hard on your punches to punch this kind of cardboard. So sometimes it takes me a bit to get it even close to round. Let's see this. I think that's enough. Now don't get any of your designs, tear the circles and whatnot. These little stripes, I got close to the edge. They're okay, but if you get too much of a round design right on the edge, you might have a little trouble. All right, let's do another one. Do one more and then I'll show you the next step. And for this one, let's see here. Okay, now this one's got too much glue. Let's get the extra glue off and set it aside to dry. You don't want to do the next step until it's a little bit dry, because if you do, the rubbing on it is going to make your pieces move around. And see, I just trimmed off anything hanging off the edge. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to find some of our fun security envelopes. Let's see if this piece is big enough. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We need a piece big enough to cover the whole thing. And you want it a little bit bigger than the whole thing. Okay, this one will work. Okay. And where's my glue stick? There it is. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over and we are going to really cover this with glue. We're going to get it nice and sticky with the glue stick. I mean, we're gonna cover the whole thing, get it to where it's almost damp. Okay, make sure to get it all the way out to the edges. Ugh. You're not supposed to overdo your glue stick though. There we go. And then, it might be easier to put it on upside down. Okay, now you're going to really rub this in. You're going to use your fingers and rub in between all of the little lines you've got. Okay. Make sure you rub it down really good. And it might not hurt to take a card and go along all of your little lines. Really get it in there. And then you want to cut off all the excess. And I just realized that this pattern on this envelope might be a little dark, so we're going to have to see if it's going to work. But we're going to leave that and we're going to set it aside, and we're going to put a topper on these two. Okay, guys. One of the things you do need to watch out for is when you're using the window envelopes. Right close to the window there's this plastic, and you don't want to end up with it on your tag, so you do have to kind of think about that a little bit when you're finding your stuff for your front covering if you're using security envelopes. Now you could use scrapbook paper. It needs to be paperweight though. It's not going to work with something heavy. Now I'm just taking a standard old paper punch and punching holes in my tags just so that I'll have a hole. That one actually was punched through one of the little stripes, so it was a little hard to punch. And this is just a 1/4 inch. You know, I have another one in there that might actually work better. Let's see if this one works better. Oh yeah, works way better. Okay, so now I have holes in my tags, and now it's time to do the awesomeness of them. This one's very dark, so I'm going to use the crayon on it. I'm going to take a little of the paper off. And you can use crayon on all of them. I'm going to try some different things just so you can see what different things do. You can use colors. I'm going to, if you use a color, it would, it works just fine. I'm using black just because I want you to see it. Okay? So I'm going to use the side of my crayon and just rub over the top of my tag. Okay. Oh, good. The crayon worked very well. And how fun is that? To create a fun design with texture. Alright, let's try regular pencil. Now, that pencil is really sharpens very well. Let's just see if we've got a regular old. Yeah, let's... You need the side of the pencil is the thing. That drawing pencil has a very sharp point on it. Let's see if we can get this advertising pencil to have a little more lead. There we go. We'll see how it works. See, even now it's very light, and it's just a standard 2B pencil, okay? But it still gives you your fun, and it's almost just like a background. This one is a colored pencil. It's just a black colored pencil. I wanted to use all the same colors so that you kind of got an idea of how they work. Now these circles, it's interesting. It's only catching on the side that is closest to me. So what we'll do is we'll just spin it around. How fun is that? This one is just not dark enough. I'm going to use a softer pencil and darken it up a little bit. This is a 6B pencil. I could use my colored pencil. Okay, so now what do we want to do with these? Let's decorate them a little bit. Okay, we might want some images. Let's see if we've got some fun images in here. Alrighty, so now we're just going to glue those on with some glue stick. Now, even though this is hanging off and I'm going to trim some of it off, I'm going to put glue on the whole thing, and that way when I put it on, I'm sure that I've got glue where I need it to be. Okay, now we're going to burnish these down. And on these two, we're going to round the corners, but we're going to do something different to this one. We're just going to call those two finished. But this one, instead of rounding the corners, what I want to do is I want to make some of those little points like we made last time. Let me show you in the book. Well, I would if I could find my book. We're going to make some little prairie points like these. and put them on the bottom of that bag. Okay. Let's set those aside. Now they're a little damp still, so we're going to be careful with them until they dry a little better. Let's get that better. Okay. I am probably only going to get one square out of this silly piece of envelope. Well, there's two, but there's extra stuff on that. Right here is where the envelope got put together. So we'll see if I have enough to get a second square. Yeah. Okay. And I'm probably going to need a third one. Just from what I can see. Oh my, this video is getting kind of long. I hope you guys aren't bored to tears. Sorry. I'll try to speed some of it up. Okay. If you haven't seen me make these prairie points, I will link right here, hopefully, to the video from last week that shows how to make the prairie points. Now, of course, if you have yarn and want to use yarn or something else, you can put your fluffs on here with yarn. But I told you to have one of these. And now we're going to put our ties on our tags and we will be done. And what I'm going to do is I am going to cut some nice strips of this plastic bag. And to do that, I'm just going to, it might be easier to cut it this way. Let's see here. I'm being picky. I don't want the green part in my tag, so I am just cutting off the part that's got the advertising on it. Okay, so now what we do is we just kind of fold this up like so. And I'm going to straighten it out just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut some nice 1.5 inch wide pieces. Probably more than I need, but that's okay. Okay, now it's kind of long, so I'm going to just cut it in half. And I think I want, let's see. That gives me 4 pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little loop, and sometimes it's easier to see your loop if you twist your bags like that. And see, now I have quite a loop. I'm going to put the loop through the hole, and I like to go through the hole from the back to the front. I don't know why, it's just one of those things. It just means that my little piece that holds everything's on the back. Okay, so now that I have a loop, I'm going to take all the stuffs on the end and I'm going to stick it through that loop. And if you want to trim them, you can trim them because they look a little bit long. There we go. And how fun is that? Let's get a couple more. And I don't even have to cut them in half because I'm going to find out, I found out I'm going to have to trim them, so. There we go, and one more. But I hope you are having fun with this. The idea behind this project is it teaches techniques that you can use in any possible way. Oh, that one is the end. We'll get a different one. But yet this is basically no cost art journaling. It's just the fun of junk journaling, but without too much expense. Learn new stuff, don't spend money. That's kind of how I want to attempt it. It also is a challenge to use what you have and still make fun, pretty stuff. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's session. Remember that this is an ongoing series, and there is a playlist for the Totally Junk Journal, which I will put up down in the description box and hopefully up there. If I can remember. Sometimes it's hard when you go to edit to find exactly where you need to put stuff, but I will try. And if you would like to join us on our for Sundays, we would love to have you. And I try to tell you ahead of time during Sunday's lives what to have for next time. Sometimes I forget, but it's always some of the same kinds of supplies. So today we're going to read a quote from our 1001 Ways to Creativity, and I am going to go do some chores. Think of how much the world has changed since you were a child. Who would have believed that so much change was possible? Who can predict what changes the future will bring? One thing we do know, the creative people will be the ones who make and shape the changes that affect us all. Oh, I hope so. Okay, guys, go have fun. Make some art. Bye-bye.